my squad of Universal Legends, and today I made a siege, like a medieval siege style flyer. Well, sort of. It's not really the best looking medieval build. It's not, in my opinion, it doesn't end up looking as good as like the steampunk build, but I think it'll satisfy. Now, this video is at 8 times speed, unlike the previous video, which was at 4 times speed, simply because I had more footage on this one, and I was trying to condense it down to a reasonable time, because I didn't want to have it being an hour-long video for no reason, especially when it's just showing the stages of the build, and you don't want to do all that. And now, most people probably would end up live streaming the build, but since every time I've attempted to live stream from the depths, my computer just crashed, yeah, we're just not going to do that. Now, what I was doing here was I was making a spiked front, because I was going to make it kind of like a craft that looks like it's going to ram into things. And it doesn't end up doing that because, you know, that will require nose diving enemy, and since this is a bomb dropping craft, probably don't want to end up doing this. And I spent a good amount of time building the AI when I tried to figure out how to do this. Now, as you can see, I just ended up flipping that and mirroring it, meaning it's an even number of blocks high instead of an odd number, so you can't get right in the middle. Now, that's not a problem. That just means if I wanted to put something directly in the middle, I wouldn't really be able to. But as you're gonna see, I'm just right now wrapping up around the edges, making it kind of look like a cone shape going inwards. And you know, it's gonna be hollow, that way it's not too heavy towards the front, because that way when we're trying to turn and lift, we can get all the essentials needed. Now, this aircraft, I have to say this right now, this aircraft cannot lift. Now, as you can see here, I just ended up mirroring it on the other side and started making a wing section. Now, I didn't know I didn't have this much recorded. I thought I had the building of the wing section, but I'm glad I didn't, because that would be really repetitive, just looking at that. But yeah, I started building the basic shape right here, and that's the thing about my designs. Normally when you are going to build something, you have like a kind of an idea. I didn't. I just threw myself at this and built as I felt. Like, I didn't have any idea of how I was going to make it previously look like or what. So, in my opinion, when you look at this, it just kind of looks like it's a two-headed turtle now. And now that I said that, a lot of you won't be able to unsee that. You're welcome. Now, here we're just lining up everything and trying to get all the top and the bottom symmetrical, which by the end of the build I just stopped caring about, because I ended up building them both so differently that it doesn't even come together naturally anymore, and it would take a lot of, I would basically just have to rework the entire ship to get it to come together and work. So yeah, that wasn't something I was willing to do at that point in time, because at that point in time it was like 4 hours into the build. Got tired and pretty exhausting, and just repetitive as well. Now, I don't know if you guys like these style of videos, like, because normally you'd see like a build process video where it'd be multiple segments, and I thought that's not needed. Just show it all in one video. Now, if you'd like it like this, then please let me know. If you don't like it like this, let me know, so I don't keep making them like this, and I can do the live commentary as I'm building them, which, I don't know, might sound good to some of you, might sound bad to others. Now here, I planned on making it like descend downwards across the wing, and as you can see, it just doesn't end up naturally fitting, because there I was trying to get it to turn downwards. It's like, you can't do that. So I had to just go back and basically flip everything, because yeah, there's not a block for every shape in this game that you could think of yet, so it's good. It teaches you to build a little bit more conventionally for other styles, and you don't try and build too extravagant builds, and it's not too bad. Now, for this craft, I ended up using I believe the only mod I used was the Revive fuel processor for this. And that was simply because we ended up using custom jets, and trying to get an oil system on this would be easy. It's just, I'm not trying to build these builds to go into the campaign and stuff like that. You can bring them in there as much as you want. I just built them so they work, and I can say I built them and that I have fun building them. Because honestly, when I do these builds, I do have fun doing them. It's just, you know, it's kind of hard to come up with ideas by myself. So, I would like you guys in the comments to let me know what you want to see for the next time. Or, you can check out the Discord, which will be in the description. And that way you can tell me what you want me to build as well. Get better way to get more information about what I'm building. Or, just, you know, talk to me if you felt like doing that. Now, this is what I was talking about. Because apparently, when I was trying to mirror it like top to bottom up here, it ends up the problem starts a lot earlier than I remember. So here I am trying to get the bottom to like wing to join where the top one has. I just can't end up getting the shape I want it to be. Like, I can roughly get there, but it's not where I quite want it to be. It doesn't quite line up with it. So at that point, I'm just like, you know what? Forget about that. I'm gonna just kind of make a force fit, and ends up looking okay in the end. Yeah, it's not the best, but it's not completely unbearable. So I think it'll be fine. If you want to download the ship yourself, which will go on the workshop, I'll let you know. Because the Steam Shaker, I believe that's what I called it. Yeah, the Steam Shaker still isn't on the workshop yet, but that's simply because I've been doing this in school projects, so I haven't had time to do the reworks I want, well, the final design touch-ups that I wanted to add to it. Now, what color should I paint this thing? Because even at the end of the build, I did not have a single thing of paint on this thing besides at the front, just to make it kind of look like a glass cockpit. That's it. I was thinking of like a crimson and black color scheme. Maybe you would prefer something different. Whatever it is, just let me know as well. Now, at this point, I'm just thinking, yeah, what can I do? Do I want to increase it at the bottom? Or, like, just trying to line it up? I ended up canceling with that. But, yeah, it's not quite decided on what I was trying to do at this point in time. And as you can see, at this point in time, it's a lot different than the screenshot you saw at the front. Because if you look in there, the area where the wings are still have the wings. And right then, I just noticed, wait a second, if I break even one block here, then one half is falling off. So it's like, yeah, let's get that better connected. But the reason I got rid of the wings is because they're creating way too much lift. Because wings in this game, like, they will, if you have enough of them, like, especially on a craft this thin, with this wings this big, you would need a much heavier craft. They will just lift it up in the air non-stop, and just nothing you can do about it. Just, you can have a bunch of thrusters pointing downward with a PID on max KP gain to send the craft going straight down, and I'm pretty sure with the amount I had on here, it would not go down. Just going to say that I'm pretty sure it would not go down, because it tries to outdo the wings, but the wings have such a high natural push down that you might, honestly, you would probably need like high power custom engines. Okay, so I came back, like, it was weird. I had like a giant clip of me just paused on the game, so I guess I forgot to hit record, like stop recording at that point. But here I'm thinking, hey, let's make a 3-block high area at the back so we can start putting the custom thrusters, because putting regular thrusters on this would just be a waste. Now, as I was pretty sure I haven't said yet, at the start, I was just thinking, yeah, this craft isn't gonna be able to turn. Well, at the start, I wasn't thinking this just yet. But when doing this, I realized this craft does not have the best area for turning. It cannot really turn by itself. So if you really want this thing to turn, what you would kind of have to do is take control of the ship manually, and then after you do that, you would have, after that you would have to like stop it, forward momentum, and just start turning it. That is the only way I've really been able to get it to turn efficiently, because you have to completely stop it, otherwise it's just going to turn and drift around. Or you're going to have to keep it at its current AI settings, which I think it means it has to travel out 1,250 meters before it starts engaging on the target, just so it has enough time to turn. And even then, I think that's barely enough time for it to turn. So it needs a bit of work. If you guys can tell me how I can get that to turn better, please let me know. Probably going to end up having to use custom jets, honestly, because I think the only thing that's going to give out the thrust needed to get that turning momentum. Not to mention, this thing just glides across the air. It doesn't have any, like, this thing shouldn't glide, but it does. It's just like a solid metal box. But you know, now I was gonna add like some turning ailerons at this point, because I thought, you know what, maybe this craft will still turn like a plane or fly like a plane, because I haven't because I completely forgot about the lift and haven't even attempted to fly this thing yet. So what I ended up doing was putting some metal beams in between here, and then putting the turn only ailerons, because, you know, I wanted to try those because I've never used those before and the game just added them. So here I start building the AI and instantly stop, because I didn't, one, have it mirrored, even though you normally don't want it mirrored, or two, have any stones to prevent EMP from getting to it. And then I just add an extra layer above and below for one, extra protection, because, you know, it's stone, has less health than metal, and two, because it fits better with the design. Now we're just gonna, I'm pretty sure we ended up, you know, use the aerial AI. This one we care more about targets closer to the ground, since, well, it is a bomber, and here we're just trying to get all the AI connected and everything. And at this point in time, I didn't quite realize that the right side of the AI wasn't connected because it wasn't touching the AI. So now I ended up making it a little bit bulkier at the front and the back, that way it can take even more hits than, you know, just getting one shot in the back, AI is gone, craft is dead in the air. Although probably won't take much to make this craft dead. And now I'm just adding lead to kind of pull the center of mass back, and unknowingly kind of help with that turning problem we have a bit, because we're heavier, so we don't just glide around, but we still do end up gliding a lot. So yeah, I need to end up changing this. Now in here we're just tidying up the inside, making it a little bit better for what's going to go in this room, which will be, I believe, our electric engine storage and our regular engine storage. But just above them we put a missile system, that way we can sorry, my nose is clogged a little bit, but yeah, that way we can just do this and have some, either, I believe right now we're just going to keep them as offense missiles, but we could add some attack or defense missiles like flares or something like that, since this thing has no flare. So I think what we're going to do is end up putting a sticky flare on each of these missiles before I end up uploading this. If I don't, well, you know what I'm saying, and you can do that yourself. Now this section was so I could split this in half, because I wanted to use half of this area in between the wing and the AI for engines and materials and stuff like that, and I wanted to use the other half for the weapon system, the Cram bombing, which took a good amount of time to get working, not gonna lie. Now I went for a pretty efficient build, put all the stuff right outside, like pumping all the exhaust out, sending it straight out the craft so we can just get it efficiently. And I have set them all to 100% charging for engines, for electric engines, because this craft is going to be predominantly focused on electrical energy, because you can get a lot of engine power out of that if you either go more efficient enough or stuff like that. And right here I just realized, yeah, okay, probably gonna need something to keep the lift up. And after adding these, it kind of worked. It still crashed a little bit, so I ended up adding a little bit more. And then here you can see that we're going up. if you look at the altitude, it's rising. Well, it was rising. I guess we tried to turn and it went a little bit too intense. So we're just gonna go in the AI, fix that real quickly after adding the storage, because the fuel processing, because that thing just completely uses all my fuel. And now we're just gonna get a quick screenshot for it, and now we're going to flatten that angle out, because here I was still trying to get it to turn, and now you can see the lift problem. We are 900 meters up in the air because the lift is so extreme, and I thought that was the aerial AI, but no. I remembered because I previously tried to build a craft and that didn't end up working out so well. Now what I'm doing here is setting it up to where if I ever needed to use like a control block to get this more efficient, I can use that method by using it to use the controls, and it will force do it that way. So much, well, I don't know what this would be. I guess it would make the craft much more stable, kind of. But yeah, we're still a good, like, the wings just consistently make us rise. So I save and decide, let's remove the wings. So we just start cutting out everything, because honestly, if you tried deleting them all at once, that'd just be really inefficient. If you can carve them out, that just causes them to drop down and makes it much more efficient, much less time consuming. And if you look closely, you'll notice I don't have mirror mode on, because I forgot about it. Now, I didn't know this at the time, but it's just like keep going, and as soon as I cut it out, game lags up a bit. Get out of build mode, pause the games, and then watch as only one side drops, and repeat the process of dropping the wings. Just go straight around, carve the wing section out, and just repeat the same process we did earlier, because, you know, efficiency. What is that? But now we're just going around, breaking all of the stuff. And I'm thinking, what can I put in here? Because I didn't want to get rid of these wing shapes, because I thought it looked nice to have. And here you can just see that satisfying deconstruction, in my opinion. So I decided to put 2 drones on each side, after messing with the engines a bit, however, because they were not generating enough electrical power. So I just carved that out, keep adding things, put more, what's it called, carburetors in there. Now I could have gone, what was it, I could have gone with the injectors, but I didn't want to do that. And since I still wasn't getting enough power, I put a bunch of RTGs to help with the power production. And the reason I didn't want to go with injectors is because I didn't want to waste any unnecessary fuel along with the regular one. Now, as you can see, the craft is working just fine, and I have no way to stabilize this roll. Now, these were going on there for turning, but I decided, yeah, let's not do that. And here, I was thinking, ooh, I know, I could put sails in here, and then I quickly saw that go away, because you can't actually expand the sails up vertically and around like that. That would be a nice feature to implement, but you can't do that just yet. So here I try increasing the KP gain with altitude, before I remembered, oh yeah, probably should put some roll stuff on here. So just going here and pasting all the editing design. Now we have a pretty stable craft now. It stays at about the altitude I want it to be, and you're gonna see me consistently go in between right and left. Now here is where I decided to start building the drone. It was gonna be kind of like a miniature version of this, but first, of course, we gotta get it aligned. And I wanted it to have the siege ram, just not one to such a scale, or apparently, as I retried to create it, with the same aesthetical look, because I've ended up pretty sure messing it up, like pretty bad. But I ended up with it with a relatively decent shape of how I think it should look like. And at the front, I kind of do like the same shield, like ram shield area, and slowly expand outwards with each one. Yeah, not too good. So I should have just focused on the top side and stopped worrying about the bottom and top at the same time, because as you saw there, I could just simply prefab it when I get it where I want it to be. So with the kind of nose in the front, I start adding the engines, or the jet thrusters, not engines. And I'm thinking, how do I want this thing to fly? Like, what power source do I want? I believe I end up going with regular fuel engines, because I thought that'd be pretty good touch. And this one I actually managed to get working as a flyer. Thankfully, I didn't put too much lift per size ratio, so ended up coming together fine. Now here I was trying to go for like a kind of rocket tail theme, like what you'd see in Looney Tunes, like a Wile E. Coyote style rocket. And I go with the tailplanes as long as the y'all want, what is it called? Yaw only ailerons. And here I'm just going with the style of the wings, just getting it kind of look like that. Trying to get it aligned with the center of mass, but I said I can do that later once I pull the center of mass back. Now I end up increasing the thickness of the armor around the engine, that way we don't have to worry about that. And since this is also going to be a mini bomber, it's not going to be the best, but it still kind of works. Once again, tweak everything as you see fit. It just goes around, drops a bomb, and then kind of acts as a bit of a distraction to the enemy, while the other one is turning around so it doesn't get bombarded, because it leaves itself vulnerable for a good amount of time before it can actually turn around. Now here, I was going like, oh, gotta put all the barrels, and then I realized, yeah, no, let's actually lower this, because if we have all of this at the top, then it's not going to really do anything. But I ended up moving the gauge, well, not the gauge, the 6-way connectors in between with the gauge. Oh, nope, I did end up putting the gauge in the middle of 6-way connectors on top and bottom. Sorry about that. That way you can that way you can have more compact everything. Have everything more compact together. Now, here is where I put the AI right at the front. Normally wouldn't do this, but I feel like this would be a slightly safer space than where the engine is, or where, you know, putting it in the middle next to a giant fragment craft. And there is a screenshot for the mic because I wanted to add that. And here I was just making sure it could fly and work together well. Added everything, made them sub vehicles that spawn on the right side, and of course rotated them correctly. Now, what I was thinking here is, what else could we do? Well, first, gotta set it up to where the craft automatically drops the docked ships when enemies were here. However, I had to keep them, like, put it on a delay, that way they didn't go up. Now, I'm gonna say this right now, this is the most stable it has ever been. And this was also when I realized, yeah, Marauders can't be despawned for some reason. Like, they're a little bit broken. When you try and despawn all enemy craft, the Marauder will just stay there. But now we're seeing its first attempt at attack run, and success. This will be its only successful attack run for me the next few hours, because it was a lot of stuff I had to do off camera to try and get it working, because it didn't really want to fly. But anyways, we're coming close to the end of the build that I have recorded, so, you know, thank you all for watching. Like the video if you liked it, dislike the video if you disliked it, and tell me what I can do better. Subscribe to the channel for more From the Depths content. Check out the description for the Discord below, and as always, thank you so much for watching.